My name is Michael Casey, and I was asked to come here because I happen to be a very odd duck in my industry, and both industries, actually. So one thing, obviously, I'm a magician. That's kind of awesome. I've been doing that for like 22 years. I'm also actually an innovator in my own way in that I work for a very large contract research organization and started my own group there to help redefine and redesign clinical trials in new and inventive ways with data visualizations and facilitation. One of the most funny things I think that I ever heard in my life was probably a big person in the field of clinical research was a friend of mine, and we were actually having wine, and he says, "Michael Casey, this industry needs people like you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so sweet." And he was like, "But this industry hates people like you." And he was right. And I've trained people all over the world, and I've traveled around, and now I start up other innovative groups inside pharma companies to help them redesign, rethink, and reevaluate how we deal with data in clinical trials. Now, the reason I'm good at that is, as a magician, you're a problem solver. You're like a huge problem solver. My job as a magician is to take all the knowledge and all the things I know, my own magical data, I guess, and represent it to you in such a way that it looks like nothing's happening, right? So, to get started with that, can I get a volunteer from this side? Oh, ma'am, yes, please. You're very, very enthusiastic. Give her a big round of applause as she makes her way up. Now, we are going to make these balls switch places. This is the magic. Holland, I knew I had doubts, bro. It's cool, bro. Just focus power, man. Focus power. Holland, I'll squeeze yours. You squeeze Lois's. Squeeze it tight. Perfect. Lois, blow on that for us. Perfect. Holland, did you feel anything? Open it up. Perfect, right. No, that's so good. Give Holland a big round of applause. Now, I want you to pretend. Let's get out of our box for a second. We had one ball out of nothing. Two balls out of one ball. What I want you to do is I just want you to blow on that. But like an impossible blow. Like one of those. Perfect. Did you feel it? Do you feel it? Open it up. What? So, story starts 2019. Well, it was a great year for me. I'm a scientist. I got a new job. I work with a research firm. And I'm also having probably the best career I've ever had in magic. I went on tour with Flog and Molly, an invited guest. I opened for the War on Drugs in Philadelphia. I was asked to open for Chris Stapleton this year at the Bridgestone Arena in 2020. And then 2020 happened. And it was terrifying and scary. And I didn't know what to do personally. I really didn't know what to do. I started trying to figure out ways I could really help, really engage, because there was a lot of things that were happening in the world that weren't quite the same as we had ever had them before. None that I had ever experienced, probably you haven't experienced. So I started doing online magic shows, and it was probably the most amazing thing I did. I was giving people a safe place to come back to, a place where you could focus on just not the world for 30 minutes at a time, once a week. And I'd have hundreds of people show up, and it was so awesome to see all their names kind of lighting up in my feed, and I was inventing new magic for them, and it was keeping me fresh and keeping me challenged. And then George Floyd died. And I thought about that a lot. I thought about maybe magic wasn't really the right thing to do. Maybe it wasn't a good thing to have people distracted from what was happening in the world, because it was really important what was happening. And I didn't know what to do. I'm not the type of person that really reacts to that well.
I love people, and I love people so much. And all of a sudden now I'm seeing with the pandemic and the things about cultural shift, I really started to get really depressed about everything and maybe rethinking what I was doing with my magic as a distraction. And I loved it. It was really great to share with people, and it was really enjoyable, but it wasn't the right time and place for what I was doing. So that research job, in a really great way, this research job was the thing, because these companies did vaccine research. So I decided to black out my entire magic stuff. I stopped posting on Instagram, I stopped posting on Facebook, stopped posting on all the social media platforms, and let the people that needed the voice, that needed to speak. And all the while I figured, maybe there's a way I can get this back in the right way. And I got a call from a major pharmaceutical company and said, I know you do vaccine research. Can you give me your best doctors? And I worked with them tirelessly for several months, getting them up and running, and started and looking at data and watching trends. And then there was more people coming, and there was COVID treatments, and there was COVID prophylaxis, and there was all these other things coming. And my science mind was so fulfilled, because I'm trying to get the world back to where maybe it could be better again. You know, we don't get stuck in our houses. We're not in this tidal wave of depression and emotion and isolation, you know. So here we are, a year after the worst global pandemic in the world, and putting down one thing, magic, for me, in order to focus on a different kind of magic, science, in order to bring the world back together again, so that we could get back to being in person with one another and sharing our emotions and our feelings with each other, because I lost so much of that. I am a social person. I needed people, and I need people to do my magic. Doing magic for me means nothing, but doing it for other people meant so much. And when I took that break, it was heartbreaking. I lost the magic. I really did. I lost the feeling of magic because I didn't have people anymore, and I didn't feel good about people anymore. I didn't feel good about the way the world was anymore. And now, having done this little tiny part, this little tiny fraction of helping solve a bigger problem, and a problem that affects billions of people, to be honest, billions of people affected by this problem, and I had one small part in that, and that was magic in and of itself, and a magic where I was in the right time and in the right place with the right skill set and the right thinking to bring something forward, to make something happen. And I lost my magic for a little while, but I'm starting to find it again. I'm starting to find hope. I'm starting to find hope in people, and I'm starting to see change. And that's helping me find my personal magic again. And I guess I promise to find my magic if you promise to find yours.